Bolivar Live, Birding on Bolivar with Winnie and Wyatt is brought to you by Beachy Beatnik Boutique, located at 970 Surfside and Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas.
David couldn't make it this morning. This is Winnie Burkett with Wyatt Egelhoff from Houston Audubon. So we're taking you in the back way at Smith Oaks. In the olden days, this was a farm. Most recently, it was George Smith's farm, and the way you got to the farm and to Mr. Smith's house was to come down Winnie Street. And he put a gate up to keep everybody from coming down. And we're going to go down the old driveway into the old homestead where George Smith raised fruits and vegetables and had a sugarcane mill and a cotton mill. We've walked down Winnie Street and the closed part of it to the sidewalk to the Smiths, that used to be to the Smiths' house. As I said, this was a farm. There weren't trees. And at the end of the sidewalk, there was a house. They made the cement sidewalk out of cement, water, of course, and shells because they didn't have gravel down here. A lot of times they used shells for roads, and they used it for a lot of things like cement. If you look along the edges, you'll see there's cement borders. The last people that lived down here, there were two older women who loved gardening, and they wore black dresses all summer, and they gardened. All along here, there were flower beds. You can see some of the narcissus up, and there's old 100-plus-year-old camellia trees down there. And the trees we see now, some of them were planted by an earlier resident, John Brown, and then some of them were planted by George Smith. George and John both liked to plant trees, and live oak trees, and they like to plant them in rows. So sometimes when you're walking through the woods, you can see the rows of the big old oak trees. This is one of the special places to birders in Smith Oaks. This is Don's Drip. If we look out there, we'll see a little puddle of water, and it has dripping water going down into it. And the birds are attracted to the sound of the drip. They need a drink after coming across the Gulf. They need a bath. And this is a place that people like to sit on the benches here and watch, and can see a lot of bird activity. Right now I'm standing on the site of the last house that was in Smith Oaks. This was where the Smith house was. And the Smith house was torn down in the late 1980s. And as I said, it was right here. And when they tore it down, they dug a hole over there and they buried the remains of the house. The house must have been very interesting. It was a house within a house. There was a house with a roof on the inside of the other house. And the walls were very thick in places. And it was rumored that the ladies that lived here had money between the walls. And the people that tore it down went and bought a new boat afterwards. So there might be some truth to that. If you look around here, there's an old rock pond they built over there to put water lilies in. There's a big old magnolia tree behind it. There was a parakeet cage over there. There are flower beds that are surrounded with rocks. On this side over here, we have the remains of an old greenhouse. The women that gardened here really gardened. It's hard to imagine in the summertime when the heat and the mosquitoes, but that's what you grew up with. There was the old greenhouse, and then there's old camellia plants. There's one there that's a red one that's over 100 years old. So this is the remains of quite a garden, and it's very different now with the big oak trees. George Smith and John Brown, who planted oak trees, planted some in this area, which you can see when you visit.
Well, thank you for joining us in High Island for the past 3 weeks. David will be back next week. Until then, we hope that you guys can come out and join us. If you're looking for more information, the HoustonAudubon.org website, www.houstonaudubon.org, has all the information you would like in terms of visiting, birding, and maps of all the different places that we've shown you guys, and a lot of the places that we're going to visit in the next couple of weeks. Thanks for joining us.
Looking for the perfect blend of seaside charm and unique style? Nestled right here in the heart of Crystal Beach, Texas is Beachy Beatnik Boutique, located at 970 Surfside and Highway 87. Beachy Beatnik Boutique is your coastal fashion haven and jewelry lovers' paradise. Special thank you to Beachy Beatnik Boutique for sponsoring our Spring 2025 Bolivar Live Birding on Bolivar. Video equipment is sponsored by Crystal Beach Decor and More, located at 1959 Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas, and Beachy Beatnik Boutique and Jewelry, located at 970 Surfside and Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas. Thank you to these two businesses for being our 2025 video equipment sponsor for Bolivar Live.